I hate to hit y'all with such a quick and speedy review, but I actually got to start packing because I'm going to Florida tomorrow. But I had to get this Bad Boys 3 review done, so here we go. Welcome back, Midnight Society. It's your boy, the Movie Nerd, here with the movie review for Bad Boys for Life. If you didn't know what you should know, Bad Boys for Life stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in this third installation in the trilogy of Bad Boys. This is taking place 17 years later after the second film and 25 years later after the first film. Pretty much the plot of this movie is that they're older in life. Martin Lawrence is trying to retire. Will Smith is still trying to stick to the game. And then this unknown criminal is starting to kill people off one by one and nobody knows who it is. And thus, they go into the game back to Bad Boys. I went to this movie with like two different things. I'm like, okay, it's not directed by Michael Bay, so maybe it's not going to be over the top of the action. And that was the best thing about Bad Boys 2 in my opinion, the car chases and the action, the slow cams, all that good stuff. And the other part was like, this isn't directed by Michael Bay, which it might actually add something different to it and bring it out. So it's not going to be like, I have to have Bad Boys 2. This is actually better than Bad Boys 2 because it's a different take on it. I have to bring out my phone for this just because I don't want to mess up the name. The movie's directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. See, I'm reading, I still messed up. But the Belgian film and television directors. I like their take on this because now that they're older, yes, there's still action scenes. The comedy hits, like, for them to be gone for this long and Martin Lawrence to come out of retirement, he doesn't miss a beat. People try to talk about Fat Martin, but Fat Martin is still funnier than half of the skinny non-Martins, you know what I mean? I actually like the change of the pace in this movie, because it kind of focused more on the dialogue, focused more on the story. Not to say there wasn't any action, but I feel like that was the, you know, set for Bad Boys 2. It was like, hey, we're gonna hit him with these chase scenes, these crazy shots of killing people, fire, all explosions. That's what it was. This movie had that, but it was like, all right, let's tone it down. These guys are older, so we need to kind of tailor to that, you know, mantra. And just like Johnny Tapia, like, I'd even watched Bad Boys 2 before watching Bad Boys 3, but he was that memorable. You remember his name. The guy that's the antagonist, the bad guy in this movie, you remember him. When he comes into the scenes, you're glad he's there. You don't forget when you're in the scenes with just Will Smith or Martin or anything that's not with him. He's memorable. And if there was any way to make him memorable, this first, like, action scene, I guess you would say, freaking hands down, that's what did it for me. I'm like, that's Deathstroke because his hand-to-hand combat is ridiculous. Then I'm like, nah, maybe he's Deadshot because his sniping capabilities ridiculous. But all in all, him as an antagonist was done very well. Another difference between Bad Boys for Life and Bad Boys 2, which I feel like that's going to be the comparison rather than Bad Boys 1, because obviously Bad Boys 2 is better than the first one. But in Bad Boys 2, I feel like the movie was going and the tension didn't build until Gabrielle Union. If you haven't watched this movie, this is your fault. But when Gabrielle Union was taken, I feel like that's when the tension and the epicness actually happened, when they had the slow-mo camera and they go on the mission to actually rescue her and go to Cuba. In this movie, the tension happens rather early, within like the first 15 to 20 minutes, and that tension kind of drags it along and carries it throughout the movie to where you're trying to figure out who this killer is and why are they trying to kill Will Smith's character. I was waiting for like that slow motion epic feeling when everybody in Bad Boys 2 was like they're gonna work with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith's character to go save his sister. And I was like, where's that in this movie? And it doesn't deliver as hard as it does from Bad Boys 2, but it has its own little spice. And I liked it. I was like, okay, there it goes. I can get with that. There are a few surprise guest actors and people that return from previous movies that I actually like, so you should definitely look out for that. And the testament of the interaction between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and their comedic ability is just ridiculous. Like I said, Martin Lawrence doesn't miss a beat. I'm glad he's back. And if you were thinking like, oh, we're going to watch this, it's not going to be as funny, they're going to try to be funny, but it's not going to be the same as Bad Boys 2, you're mistaken. It won't disappoint, and you can trust me on that one. If not, I paid for your movie. I won't pay for your movie. Without any spoilers, I can say it's probably going to be a sequel to this movie, and if not a sequel, then it's definitely going to be a spin-off. All in all, Bad Boys for Life was a great movie, especially if you bring a friend or bring a drink. I know because I went with my wife, and we drank tequila before we went to go see it. But Bad Boys for Life is definitely worth watching in theaters. So Bad Boys for Life, let me know what you think if you saw it, if you plan on going to see it, if you don't plan on going to see it. And as always, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, this is submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.